few scenes. This is always a really tough one, is breaking the fourth wall. Tom, what was that experience like for you? I mean, you're right down the barrel, and it's like, it's just a different kind of nakedness and exposure. What was your process with that?
It was really difficult, actually. I mean, you spent your entire career trying to not look at the camera, and then all of a sudden that isn't necessarily the rule anymore. And the thing I found really complicated is whenever Cherry addresses the camera, it is his present self reminiscing about what is going on in that moment. So it was hard to try and find a way to bounce between the two versions of him, the one reminiscing and the one him living in the present. So it's just one of those things that took a while for me to get used to. But there's moments, I love those moments because I know how difficult they were for me to try and get right. But it's just one of those things that I just had to get on with and trust the bros that they were happy and I was doing the right thing. But yeah, it wasn't the easiest thing for me to try and achieve.
This is a great.
I'm going to add. Oh, sorry, Robert. I just want to.
Just going to say, Robert, they shredded themselves physically and emotionally for this. I just want to bring up that, I think Tom lost almost a quarter of his body weight. I know Sierra lost a lot of weight. And you know what it's like when you do that for a role. You're living with that every day, and you're starving yourself, and you're having to go to work and deal with these emotionally fraught scenes. These two really shredded themselves, and kudos to you guys and bravo, because you laid yourselves bare, you laid yourselves raw for these performances to get as much authenticity as possible out of it. As Ann said, it was some of the most impressive performance work we've ever been a part of, and it came at a real physical cost to both of them. We almost had a broken ankle, a broken nose, just a lot of emotional, physical work.
In the adaptation process, was the humor already in there regarding the names of the banks? I love that. And also the anonymity of the protagonist.
The anonymity of the protagonist. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Please.
The anonymity of the protagonist is from the book. It's referred to as the narrator in the book. We call the character Cherry in the screenplay.
Yep.
We came up with the names for the banks. We figured that is exactly as Cherry would perceive the banks at that point in his journey. So we had some fun coming up with that.
It's a little Mr. Robot, too, in there, which I just kind of dug. It is definitely a little
character, and color was elemental to that, as were a number of other things. And it was kind of interesting to us as well that part of the dimension of the character was that he was colorblind, which comes out in his medical exam when he's entering the army at basic training. Yeah.
And by the way, I just had to say that I love when you're doing that kind of like boogaloo flag dance. By the end of it, it shows that you've basically been driven mad, and that's not even the toughest part of the story.
Robert, I just want to add a quick note. Watching Tom do what he's just describing there, where he was able to slip in and out of two different versions of the character that were separated by years and years of his life and miles of experience, so dexterously, like in and out and in and out. I mean, it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on a performance level. So difficult to do, and watching him work himself into the place where he could do that in the blink of an eye was amazing.
Well,
and in the way that
enough,
you two, yeah.